there's a new political party that has just been launched called the Canada Future Party. So if you guys remember, I was involved in the launch of another party with a very similar name called the Future Party of Canada. So to be very clear, this is not the same party. It's another party that just has a very similar name. So I was involved in the other one, not in this one. But this is the Canada Future Party. Yeah, basically the idea is that it was started by this New Brunswick politician named Dominic Cardy. The background of Cardy is pretty interesting, and we can talk about his background a little bit later. But the idea on why Cardy started this party is he wanted a centrist party, right? So the idea is that there's a big gap of politically homeless people in the middle, where the Liberals have moved too far to the left, and so has the NDP, and the Conservatives have moved too far to the right. And then now there's even a People's Party, which is even further to the right than the Conservatives. So it's left a big gap in the middle, and this is kind of where Cardy is trying to come in and start a new party. It's like a centrist party, right? So this is kind of the idea where you take some good ideas from the left and you take some good ideas from the right. The argument is that Cardy is the perfect man to lead this party because he started his career as an NDP politician. So I believe he made it all the way up to the leader of the New Brunswick NDP. So he made it to the top position in New Brunswick for the NDP. But then later on in life, he had some disputes within the party, and he was complaining how there was too much party infighting, and the party was being very factionalized, right? So there are smaller groups of politicians that fight each other within the party, within the NDP. So he just kind of got sick and tired of that, and he quit the NDP, and he actually joined the Progressive Conservative. So he switched sides. And then now. He doesn't he hates the Conservatives now too. So then he quit the Conservatives, and then now he started a new party. So maybe this is one of the things that's interesting about his background, where you have a lot of people on the right kind of criticizing him for his involvement in the NDP, right? And then you have the people on the left calling him a traitor because he quit the NDP. It's generally the case where there's if there's criticisms on you from both sides, calling you the other side, right? If the right calls you left and the left calls you right, then that's a good indication that you're probably in the middle on a lot of things, right? Again, I'm not endorsing him or anything because I don't know enough about him yet, or about the Future Canada Party for that matter. But I did have a brief look on their website about all their policy proposals. Not all of it I like, but a lot of it I do kind of support. I was wondering, so I kind of DM'd you guys the link to the Canada Future Party website, along with the party platform page. So I was hoping that you guys had a chance to kind of read it before today's meeting, and have had time to formulate some thoughts surrounding it. So I was very curious to see what you guys thought about, forming a new party in the center in the first place, this idea as a whole. And have you read through any of the proposed policies, and what do you think of his proposed policies? So just let me throw it to you guys first, and then maybe I'll chime in later on.
I do see a advantage to having a middle party, because of the fact that our political system is increasingly being more divisive, in that sense of where we have kind of a left party, we have a right party, we don't really have a center party. And I think that is a weakness in our political sphere, because there's a lot of people who are going to be voting for the left or the right, but don't really align with them. And I think that is kind of a problem. But I think at the same time, it's because our system is a two-party system, essentially, it's also kind of like this is a bit of a waste of time in general because no one's going to vote for it. Honestly, that's a big issue. Is that like they need to be getting a lot of support to even have a hope, and where are they going to be getting that support? Like they're going to have to try and get it from one of the other parties, but people who are voting for those other parties currently are going to be like, oh, well, I can't have Justin, so I've got to vote for the Conservatives because this party has no chance in hell of getting in. Or the Liberals or someone doing the other thing. I can't have Pierre, so I got to vote for Justin because the NDP or the future party have no chance of getting in. And so because of that, the way the system is set up, like even if people are aligned politically with this, it hasn't been proven, right? It hasn't proven that it is electable. And so at best, it can grow a little bit of support over the years, but it's going to be extremely slow going. And they really need to be in a scenario where there's no compelling leader for any of the other parties to have even a remote chance. And unlike America, which seems to be chronically scraping the bottom of the barrel for presidential candidates, we are at least, closer to the top of the barrel. I don't think that most people would say that we have the best candidates in the world, but I would say that, none of our candidates were old and decrepit. They're both of our current political leader candidates. Like, honestly, all three, Jagmeet, Justin, Pierre, all of them are relatively young. So we don't have to worry about any of them just keeling over in the White House due to old age or having to go stay at a rest home. So that right there is already a clear improvement. So I would say that it's not quite as dire. It's not dire to the point where people would be easily willing to swap to a new candidate, a new party that is completely untested. And so until we get some electoral reform, at the very least doing a ranked voting system, I don't see how this party could do much of anything, And I think that's kind of a shame because of the fact that we do have a large number of people who are basically sitting in the middle, looking at both of them and just essentially becoming swing voters because of the fact that they aren't really aligned with either the Liberal or the Conservatives well enough to consistently be on one of those sides. And as our political sphere gets more divisive, that group will potentially grow. So until this has been become a proven thing, I just don't see it having much doing much of anything really.